Okay. Now, regarding the biochips, it always seems when we look at the biochip, we can understand that the DNA molecules must have been mounted into these microchips, and these may eventually come to replace the microchips which are already present, having the electron flow channels made up of silicon or etched into silicon. So, further, scientific studies would have shown us that 1000 DNA molecules were able to solve complex computational problems, and this can take over centuries to for a computer to solve in just 4 months. So DNA works faster also. So it is very much feasible that it is being used in the future, that biochips is the future now. It is the most latest thing you can even think about, and new researches are going on this biochips only. Okay, now the next is bioremediation. Bioremediation is a part of environmental biotechnology. It is the employment of living organism, using the living organisms like microbes and bacteria to remove contaminants, pollutants and toxins from soil and water. Okay, so it is a branch of environmental biotechnology you can consider, and we are using the biotechnological techniques or recombinant DNA technology to produce new kind of bacteria, new kind of microbes which may help in the purification of the environment. Bioremediation may also be used to clean up the environmental problems such as oil spills. If you have heard about oil spills during the transition, when these ships are taking the material from one place to another, they are carrying, so sometimes oil get spilled, maybe because of the leakage, or the oil tankers get spilled. So these oils form a layer over the water, and due to this layer over the water, there cannot be oxygen going inside. The dissolved oxygen level in the water decreases, and this causes a great loss of life in the aquatic flora and fauna. So what is being done? This was a big problem earlier. So bioremediation is needed. Coming on, why it is actually needed. Bioremediation offers numerous advantage over normal cleanup method. If we would use normal pesticide, normal cleaning up process like filtration of the water, but that could not be feasible. That is not possible to go and clean up the water everywhere, because it is a huge globe. Around the globe we have huge water bodies. We cannot go and filter out everything. We cannot put on some chemicals which can digest the oily layer over the water, because then the chemicals will be again having harmful effect on the flora and fauna. So what we can do here, we can rely only on the natural processes and relatively eco-friendly methods, which will minimize the damage caused to the ecosystem, which will cause least damage or will not at all cause any damage to the ecosystem. Further, in this pathway, Anand Mohan Chakravarti, now we have come to that point. Anand Mohan Chakravarti, he is the man. He designed this microorganism which we call as superbug. It is Pseudomonas putida. Anand Mohan Chakravarti is regarded as the father of patent microbiology, and he filed a case and won the case, having the verdict in his favor. It said a live human made microorganism is patentable. Okay, alive, which is live and human made microorganisms. Naturally occurring microorganisms cannot be patented. This is the first requirement for getting a patent, that anything which is natural cannot be patented. So but here Anand Mohan Chakravarti, what he did, he created his own microorganisms utilizing 4 different strains of bacteria. He clubbed the DNA of all these 4 different types of bacteria and made a super bacteria, which we call as a superbug. So it was not naturally occurring, so finally he got it patented under his name. So remember the photograph, recognize the person, how it all started. See here what happened. construction of superbug. These are four. What Anand Mohan Chakravarti said, that studied about the oil. The oil has four different components: camphor, octane, xylene, and naphthalene. And there are four different strains of Pseudomonas, which can actually digest camphor. Another strain can digest octane, another third strain can digest xylene, and the fourth one can digest naphthalene. But none of them could digest all the components. So what he thought, that why not combine all these and make a new bacteria having the properties of all the four, rather than using all four. See, he could have used all the four strains separately also, but we will come to that point why he did not do that. What he actually did, let us discuss that. He combined the camphor plasmid. Plasmid, you understand, in a bacteria two types of genetic material is present. One is the bacterial chromosome, which is freely floating into the cytoplasm, and another is the circular chromosome, which we call as plasmid DNA. That plasmid is very much unique for every bacteria. So what he did, he took the plasmid of camphor digesting bacteria and combined it with octane degrading bacteria, and produced the camphor octane plasmid. Then what he did, he took the xylene plasmid and naphthalene digesting plasmid and combined them. Finally he combined both these two recombinant and made a superbug having all the four colors. You can see the different colors here: green for camphor, pink for octane, blue for xylene, and yellow for naphthalene. And the superbug at the base here, the superbug is having all the four colors in the plasmid. So that certainly means that it has all the properties of the four bacteria. So this was Pseudomonas putida, the superbug. And now this alone, one superbug, can digest the oily layer and can free the surface of the water from the oily layer and can save the flora and fauna of the aquatic system. Now coming on to the question that we left, why these four bacteria cannot be utilized together, or what is the need of a genetically engineered bacteria? Why at all there was a need? See the answer. Because these four bacteria competed with each other for their survival and growth. When we are using four bacteria, they are all feeding up on that oil and they are competing amongst themselves, which one is more survival of the fittest. Just compare it. Only these were having a competitions for their survival, and then finally only one would survive or two would survive. So only octane was removed, only xylene was removed, but still the other two were there, so it was not being removed. So then the need of genetically engineered bacteria arose. This competition, due to this all competition, the crude oil, the amount of crude oil which was actually being degraded became very less degradation, so it was not very much effective. So Anand Mohan Chakravarti developed this and won the case of Diamond versus Chakravarti in the Supreme Court of United States, and that is all how it started. So here we end the class. Hope you enjoyed it, and it was a very interesting topic for me. I hope you also enjoyed it. We shall be discussing in the next class. Thank you so much.